Welcome to Daily Plunge. We are in the book of Numbers, chapter 22, verses 1 through 21. After the Israelites have a victory over the Amorites because of the divine providence of God, because the Lord gave them the victory, the people of Moab are filled with great terror, and the king, King Balak, is filled with dread. Because he sees this great people, Israel, moving around his area, a vast horde as it is, right? And so he sends messengers on a 10-day trek to go find Balaam, who must have been a pagan magician of some renown, right? He's an Middle Eastern magician, somebody who deals with witchcraft and necromancy and the prohibited divining, right? And I mean, part of that, calling up the spirits of the dead and evil spirits to discern the future. And they seek this hired gun to come and curse these people. And what they're asking for is an outside spiritual force, an evil force to defeat what God has intended. And so the Lord speaks to Balaam and says to him, "You are not to curse the people I have blessed." Now, Balaam at first says he won't go, but the elders of Moab continue to impress upon him the importance of it and how much money they're going to give him, right? And so, again, Balaam is told, you are not to curse these people, but he goes. And I think one of the things that we're to take away from this reading is that Balaam thinks he's going to be able to manipulate the sovereign God. That Balaam thinks he's going to be able to continue his path and just sort of edge along with what the Lord has commanded him. And I want us to ask ourselves, how often do we think that we can keep playing at things and sort of push the sovereign Lord, the Lord God Almighty, the one who has life and death in his hands, the one who is the eternal judge, right? How long do we think we can play at these games with him? Because as we read the rest of the story of Balaam, it's really clear that Balaam is not going to win this battle. The other part of this is to recognize how powerful God's blessing is upon his people. And I think about how we become so fearful in this life, terrified of various things, and do not trust the promises of God's blessing. God's blessing is greater than the curses of this world. We may not always see it the way we want it to go, but God is eternal, and his promises are eternal, and they are greater than the curses of this world. So we will continue with this story about Balaam and how he needs to get it straight to speak God's true word. A pagan God is using to speak his true word. Well, thanks, friends. Have a blessed day.